All right, it looks like we're live. It's also looking like this is gonna be a short stream tonight. Hopefully not. Just so much going on. Lame excuse, but so much going on. What can I say? Yeah, so we're going here. Gonna try and get caught up from some things that have been going on. Gonna just brainstorm a little bit more because that's what we always do. And yeah, I heard there's more controversy on Superstonk. I just quickly went on to try and find it and saw a couple interesting posts. Maybe we'll go through. Of course, GameStop's investor relations. I have the 10K pulled up here. So something I've really been thinking about since seeing the new Milan store open in Italy, where it's a three-level store. Basically, one level is a classic GameStop level. Another level, right, is streaming and things related to that, and they'll have events. And then the other level is board games and collectibles, more specifically geared towards kids, from what I understand. I should maybe try and find some images later, but basically innovative stores and seeing the amount of leases expiring in 2023 that was reported in the 10K, 39% of leases expire, right? Their term expires this year. So that's a lot of decision making on 39% of the stores of all GameStop stores, right, that are out there. They'll have to make the decision of what they're going to do with the lease. And that got me thinking, I'm like, well, maybe seeing what we saw happen in this new store in Italy, if we start to see more stores have renovations to be in that format, maybe they're really not planning to renew a lot of these leases and only specific leases that they can renovate to make larger to try and do what they did in Milan, Italy with that store. So that's just some speculation I have. I could be totally wrong. But yeah, it's definitely interesting that that new type of store opens generally the start of the year, at the same point where a lot of leases are expiring. So I think a lot of leases will be renewed, but I feel like if a lot of them aren't, it might mean new leases in new places that can have a larger store for GameStop and really focus on that foot traffic and like bringing people in for experiences just to boost sales over time. That's just like a complete brainstorm there, but I don't know. I'd have to put together that thought a little bit more and maybe dig a little bit deeper. But store leases typically provide a lease term of 1 to 5 years plus renewal options. This arrangement gives us the flexibility to pursue extension or relocation opportunities that arise from changing market conditions. I would say this is a changing market condition, as in the gaming industry is evolving, and they're really trying to get in the forefront of Web3 and just the next chapter of digital, I guess, because obviously the first chapter they didn't do very well in terms of everything going from to digital, disc to digital, like where you just buy it directly online. We believe that as current leases expire, we will be able to obtain either renewals at present locations or leases for similar locations in the area. So maybe there's a spot that's doing really well, right? Like let's say it's in a particular mall, but they really want to renovate that store and bring people in for collectibles, board games, streaming experiences, things of that nature. But maybe that spot doesn't have enough like just space around it to make that happen. There might just not be a leasable space in the other stores next to it. They can't necessarily do that in the one spot. So maybe they're okay, well, we're closing down this store, but right across there in that bigger building or that bigger in-store mall, right? Our store in mall, we're gonna open the new version of GameStop, the renovated, the like when a store shuts down to do renovations or they change locations to like a bigger spot, maybe that's kind of what we're going to start to see at a GameStop and really the direction they're going. But I got to get the chat pulled up here. I don't have it working yet. Hey buddy, just wanted to report I put another 10,000 in GameStop. See you on the moon, baby. Jay, thank you for being here. Wish you the best of luck with that. I know what I'm doing with my shares personally, just choosing whether to hold or hodl, but that's just me. Good evening, Tetron. Danzo, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Jackson's, what up, what up? Thank you for being here. Challenger, hello. Thank you for being here. Hello, Green Crayon or Crayon Green, thank you for being here. Sir Moist, good day, good day. But yeah, I don't know. Life's kind of like just kicking my ass lately. I know I was saying I went to Texas, but I really didn't give myself enough time to come back and like get myself together, and I didn't realize how busy a week this was going to be at work. So yeah, a lot of different things going on. Definitely a lot of lessons with traveling from this past weekend as well, because I'm just so gassed. I just feel so like out of the swing of things, if that makes sense. Like, doesn't even feel like I took like a vacation, which is like not ideal, like especially when you come back to a busy time at work. But it is what it is, just grinding forwards. Thoughts on DSPP and fractional shares fiasco? Private, thank you for being here. That is what I want to get into a little bit tonight. I got to dig into that more because, like I was just saying, how I've been pretty busy since I got back. I haven't been able to keep up with things. And to be honest, whenever I do start seeing a lot of noise, I really just become zen, right? Like it sounds corny. Everyone says, "Oh, yeah, just be zen, be zen." But I just know how I feel about GameStop underlying with everything else. So that's really always what's like on my mind the most. And I see the noise and I'm like, okay, well, I have to digest it, but I will when I have time. So I'm going to have to look into it. Hi, Tetron. I've been listening to your live stream since the first one, but I don't watch them because I listen to while I drive. I'm a truck driver in Australia. Ashley Black, thank you for being here. That's awesome. I appreciate that so much. It's all good. Sometimes I just listen to streams too. It's honestly a wave sometimes. Respect the grind, man. Crayon Green, thank you, thank you. So when you read comments, may you please not do that skim thing you do. I can't read them. What do you mean? Oh, do that. Oh, yeah. I got you. Okay. I got you. I'll try and read the full thing. I know sometimes at the end, like, yeah, you guys can read the rest. I got you. I see what you're saying. I'll try and make that adjustment. But yeah, so should I even search it here? Is it going to give me a good? I need does anybody have a summary where I can start? Because honestly, I like scrolled past this, right? But I haven't even been looking particularly into like the latest controversy. Like, I know between book and plan, but why is it coming up again now? Like what kind of sparked the debate? Let's see what we have here. Platt Sparkles. Check out their FAQs. There's an update to include DRS and DSPP specific answers. Still have follow-up questions. Let us know in the comments and we'll forward them on. What is a direct registration system? Direct registration system allows registered shares to be held in electronic form without having a physical security issued as evidence of ownership. Okay. Scroll down. Are shares held through Computershare Investor Center registered ownership shares or beneficially owned shares? Shares managed directly through our Investor Center are transferred by DRS and entered onto the register in the shareholder's name. Transferred by DRS are entered onto the register in the shareholder's name. Okay. How does Computershare ensure there is a balance between shares that are directly/indirectly held? We use double entry accounting systems that ensure there is always an accurate balance between shares held directly by registered shareholders and those held by Seed & Co. on behalf of DTC, banks, brokers, and beneficial investors. This means that for every share transferred through DRS that can be registered on the share registrar, there is one fewer recorded as being in Seed & Co. Hold on, I want to read that last part again. That means that for every share transferred through DRS that can be registered on the share registrar, that is one fewer being registered in Seed & Co. Okay, so what they're saying is Seed & Co. shares plus DRS should equal total shares at all points in time. Does Computershare lend out shares in registered form? Does not lend out shares in registered form as these shares are owned by the registered holder. For operational efficiency, a small portion of the aggregate number of DSPP shares, so the direct stock purchase program, are held in Computershare's behalf for the benefit of plan participants by arrangement with our broker. These particular shares are maintained by the broker for the benefit of Computershare and in turn for the benefit of plan participants in DTC. Our broker is not permitted to lend out any of these shares. Okay, but their broker, from what I understand there, is an entity or still falls under that umbrella of DTC through Seed & Co. being the representative of it all. But can I just get to the direct source stuff? But I assume this is just from the website, right? Let's see. Yeah, I've seen this many times. So they were mentioning beneficially owned though. And you would have to think if there was demand for shares, somebody could pull some string, theoretically, right? Allegedly, pull some string somewhere to, right, it says here, how does, that means for every share, wait, by arrangement, these particular shares are maintained by the broker for the benefit of Computershare and in turn for the benefit of plan participants. For operational efficiency, a small portion of the aggregate number of DSPP shares. So I would assume that's generally, but maybe if there's like one stock, theoretically, more would be held in that way, right? I mean, it's interesting because of how the 10K this time worded it versus the last 10K and the previous 3 10Qs. So one could only wonder if this specific language means anything or is put that way because it's not exactly as it was represented before, if that makes sense. Okay. What are the benefits of a registered shareholder? What is a beneficial shareholder? Okay, beneficial shareholders have their stock and as an intermediary by a broker, such as a broker. When shares are kept in this manner, it is often referred to the shares in street name. Many investors choose to be beneficial owners. They access their investments and account balances and other information through a broker and intermediary's online platform. All beneficial shares are generally held in electronic book entry form through the depository trust company. In certain circumstances, shares may be lent by the brokerage firm to cover other trading activity, such as short sales by others. So, this is the whole thing, right, to me. And this is just how I view it. Always do your own research, come up with your own perspective, however you want to put it, right? This is just how I envision it from my knowledge and what I understand. If there are shares, right, at brokers, it's not like every single day they're necessarily being used for this or that, but when shares come due, right, it would be pretty simple if they're all actually in the name of Seed & Co. and one particular brokerage needs a lot on one particular day, it'd be pretty easy, right, theoretically, to just temporarily locate them all for that particular brokerage on that particular day. And then maybe a week later, oh, this brokerage needs a lot of shares for this day. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like generally speaking. And to me, that's the issue with the DTC. If you're like, oh, yeah, like you're just saying all this and saying all that. But what I see it as is it allows for back and forth, ping pong, all around, right? Because whenever something does maybe pop up, it's really easy to just move it all within because it's all just beneficially owned by whoever beneficially owns it. But underlying, Seed & Co. technically does own it at the end of the day. So that's just like a really interesting thing at the end overall. Like, how could one name just technically own it? Isn't that so remarkable? So interesting. And damn, I don't even have the chat on the screen today. I'm gonna check here. Tetron proving Bulls DD says he thinks that any fractional share will make your whole account lent out through DTCC. That's a summary. That you have to remove all fractions by selling that one fraction. Damn, that's very interesting, Danzo. I gotta look at that. So oddly enough, r/superstock banned a DD on the topic. They may have restored the post, but I had to go to r/DRS your GME to find what the fuss was about. I think even Proving Bull tweeted the same thing. That being to get out of DSPP, direct share purchase program, and not carry any fractional shares in your account, and then DTC has access to them for operational efficiency. That's very interesting. I'm gonna look it up right now. Yo, XBit, what up? Thank you for being here. All right, let's just go to Peruvian Bull on Twitter. That's a very smart individual we're talking about, so I'm excited to read this. Let's go. Here we go. Damn, 26.2. Oh my god, in this account, I want to show you something real quick with Investor Turf. Call me crazy. Just do it. Just call me crazy. Tell me this is not reverse psychology right here. Am I crazy for thinking that? You guys tell me. The problem is that many Twitter accounts, including mine, face a similar issue when reporting on stocks such as AMC. Specifically, if we report positive news about the stock, we are inundated with attacks. Interestingly, this trend This tends to happen only with AMC and not other stocks we cover. While we cannot be certain of the reason, it has become quite apparent at this point. We do not wish to speculate further. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, come on, yo. The problem is that many Twitter accounts, including mine, face a similar issue when reporting on stocks such as AMC. Specifically, if we report positive news on the stock, we are inundated with attacks. We report positive with the stock, we're inundated with attacks. Interestingly, this tends to only happen with AMC and not other stocks we cover. While we cannot be certain of the reason, it has become quite apparent at this point. We do not wish to speculate further. What say it? Just say it if you have something to say. It's like this whole thing. Also, like they're battling with the Virtue CEO. It's all like a big TV show. Like it's so stupid. It just look at the companies underlying. That's where you can find good news. That's where you can find what's really going on. This whole like they're always like just setting off. Oh, look at this, look at that. Oh, right, like all these different things. I don't know. I don't like it. Am I crazy for thinking like this? Like it just seems like to make people think reverse psychology, if that makes sense. Like I don't know. I do not like this account, and because just saying stuff like this, like what are you insinuating? Like, oh yeah, because AMC is going to be the biggest squeeze of all. It has the biggest short interest, the biggest corruption within it. We got to fight back the most. Like what? Like I don't know. That's just how I feel about that right there, and it just annoys me every time this is. The only reason I don't block them is because like I like to see what is going on as a whole. Like I want to see what's popping in my feed, and if they're popping my feed, it shows me they're relevant and like look how many views. So to me, this is something I want to be like aware of, if that makes sense. But like, they just annoy me. That's my rant on them. On investor turd, as Danzo calls it. But no sell. Yo, John Jar Binks, what up, what up? Propaganda, exactly, Sir Moise. You're right about the investor turd. See, Danzo said in the chat, I already knew it. Carefully worded like a lawyer wrote it. Exactly, yeah. The way it's written too. Everything that's such a good point, Sir Moise. They always put everything in such like psychological writing, if that makes sense. Like I'm glad I'm not the only one that's seeing it like that. And like I understand they want to talk about different things and this is their category. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But like the way it's just feeding to the narrative of like basket of stocks and like the way they're saying that, like you said, like all that kind of like technical legal sort of looking talk where it's like, yeah, we're just saying, but we're not gonna comment any further. Like stuff like this. There's tons of accounts that just tweet stuff like this, right? So what? I don't have a problem with that. I'm not gonna like get pissed off over it. But like this tweets like that are just stupid. I'm trying to see what else. Yeah, see like blasting Amy, like that girl trader. She's put out information and just trying to share that AMC is a poor investment in terms of fundamentals. A notorious stock basher who we continuously receive reports about. And then, yeah, I like how in the other tweet it's I, and then in this tweet it's always, oh, we this, we that. And sounds like calling virtual funds saying it's globally bankrupt. It's 93% held by institutions, serious investors, calls financial their business and investors, right? But basically, it's just funny. I think she's saying that because Investor Turf is always like, oh, may we remind you, Rule SEC 4.1.7 permits you from bashing, whatever. Like, they start always saying stuff like that. So I think she was just mocking them there. And, of course, they try and just pull a little switcheroo. But, I don't know. Whatever. Enough about this clown. Let me get to where I was trying to go. Peruvian Bull, a good Twitter account. But that's enough of a rant. Posted originally by user/60 days 1 week on r/GME GME if you want to take a look. Also, not sure if that would be the first post. He said it was removed from Superstock. The bonds in Superstock have been super sus lately. I know, John, I've been hearing that. Tetron, hope you're well. Linda Real, thank you for being here. Doing all right, man. Just, pushing along, chugging along, lifing along. Yeah, that's well put. Thank you, Sir Voice. Yeah, so let me just see if I can pull it up here if he has it. Or first I'll go through here, then if I can't find it here, I'm going to pull it up there anyway. Good looks. That pops up when terminating plan. Removal from the reinvestment plan. All shares will be removed from the plan to book entry. All future recurring investments will be canceled, and all future dividends will be received in cash to the shareholders. So I personally terminated my plan, but I think I still have the fractional share. So does that mean that's still allowing for my shares to be used against me in some shape or form? Because I only bought shares once. Before I transferred anything to Computershare, my first test was buying shares direct. I threw like only $100 in something like that, right? At the time, it was literally, I think, one share. No, 1 point something. I don't know. Maybe I put 150 and I got 1 point something shares because at the time it was like pre-stock dividend. So I'm not too sure, but that's the only reason I have a fractional share. And I wonder if, let's say, Peruvian's theory on DRS numbers explains why the report switched from XXX shares held at Computershare to XXX shares held at DTC. Did not produce a book versus plan. DD, everyone. I'm not sure if it's right or not, but it's certainly not mine. Oh, okay. Can be the book king too. But yeah, also Ryan Cohen choosing the right books at the time, like I don't know, I always go back and forth with this stuff. I'm like, is my hat too tinfoily, or is it just all too perfect the time they decided to become the book king, where this started to become a topic originally? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I really go back and forth, but I really kind of think that because it's like I start thinking more and more because I'm like everything Ryan Cohen does, everything he does, like it's almost like if you look back, right, as more time passes, it always seems to be like, oh, that's why he did that at that time, or like that's where he was going with it. Or that's kind of my sense at least. Or oh, that's why he said that. So is this why he became the book king? Because he wanted to keep like anything he does, right? He'll just put light on it. So obviously he can't be like, look at that. So he has to very discreetly say it. And I also kind of feel like his interview with Toast, a GME specific only site, maybe just theoretically the reason for that is like that was around the time of like, oh yeah, Ryan Cohen's gonna merge Bed Bath and GameStop when all those theories were going around. That's G America. And then all of a sudden he came out and he's like, no, yeah, I'm just really focused on GameStop. I'll do some investing here and there, but it's about GameStop. I think that was him saying, again, with another hot topic, a lot of back and forth, like, yo, listen, without saying it, like, no, that's not happening. I don't know. Maybe that's kind of out there, but I'm gonna pull that up right now. Um, r/DRS your GME, is that it? Let's go. Why don't I actually just get the chat going here? But I don't have it on the side here, but just so it fills in this little blank spot. Quickly do that. Whoa. Okay. There we go. This should update now. All right, let's go. Lots of Superstock are getting nuclear on the stopping automatic buys for GME on Computershares. Automatically seeing yourself. Damn. Yes, no fractional share still is bad. That's crazy. There are 4 points in the DD over. Okay, let's go GME. It's not a coincidence. I remember. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta fix this. It's cut off. Damn. All right, well, we'll do no chat on the screen, but I'm gonna pull up it right here. I'll just keep pulling it up for here for today. It's a lazy stream tonight, guys. I'm sorry, but we gotta keep going. So okay, wait. Mazda Superstar could go nuclear on top because of any. Oh, I gotta go live chat because of any talk on of stopping automatic buys for GME computer shares automatically seen as FUD. Read the DD and think for yourself. Yes, no fractional share is still bad. There are 4 points in the DD in order to make sure the pure DRS camp. Let's go GME. Connor, thank you for being here. It's not coincidence. I remember the timing. Crayon, yes, agrees as well. You cannot own any planned shares, which includes a fractional share. 2, you cannot be enrolled in dividend reinvestment, even if you're 100% book. 3, you cannot be enrolled in recurring buys on a computer share. 4, you cannot have a limit order placed. That's crazy that it's actually that much that needs to be done just to assure, even after getting it to the transfer agent. And what was the, yeah. Hey, how's it going? Chris, thank you for being here. Pretty good, man. Just Grinding through the week. Yeah, I can't believe it's Wednesday already. This week has been flying. User / 6 days, 1 week. That's a mind-boggling username. Oh, I didn't even tweet out the stream. So yeah, I'm gonna really have to look at this. Or what was just the name of the DD? Example testing DD where some people are conflicted. These are tested hypothesis with Nordstrom shares apparently. Okay, interesting. I can just do this here. Not to go stalking this guy, but I just want to say. Okay. Let's see. It has a lot of downvotes. Or, I mean, I don't know, but I just feel like that's not that many upvotes. But then again, this is a different size sub than Super Stonk. Okay, let's read through. Let's tweet out the stream. Then we're going to read through. Make sure everything's rolling good here. For real, appreciate all of you guys being here. Much, much appreciated. Just get this tweeted out real quick. Damn, I just got the notification that Bitcoin just fell down to 28.7. Damn. Oh wait, I should just do it from here. Tweeter. Loading. Oh, yeah, I don't know if you guys caught my tweet today. Sources close to me were telling me some really interesting information. They were saying, I mean, I don't know. I really trust these sources, guys. I'm just saying. But they were saying to me that the next GME is actually GameStop. Or the next GameStop is GME. That's just what sources are saying. Sources close to me are saying. But, okay. Breaking new info, a portion of all your shares are possibly being moved to DTC on cutoff days to suppress the DRS counts. What is a DSPP share and how short hedge funds are causing household investors' shares to be moved? Okay, wow, so where to start? I've been working on the information below actively for 6 weeks. I was led to this research based on a conversation I had with another household investor. She couldn't get straight answers from Computershare chat, trying over half a dozen times why DRS book shares were forced to adhere to the same terms and conditions as the plan shares in her account. She was specifically inquiring about dividend reinvestment at the time. After I had a few Computershare chat conversations myself, one of which is shown below, I came to the same conclusion. That's what ignited the fire in me to find out what was going on. This led me to Nordstrom stock, as I already owned one DRS book share, and they were scheduled to pay a cash dividend on March 29th. I had no plan shares and dividend reinvestment turned off, so my account was a quote-unquote pure DRS account. Another household investor helped me determine that I still had time to buy a plan share plus fractional before the ex-dividend date. I quickly made a one-time direct purchase for plan shares and barely beat the deadline. Finally, this would give me the real-life example, quote-unquote real-life example, regarding what was actually happening. The test I performed was to determine if I would receive cash for my book share and receive dividend reinvestment for my plan shares. After talking with the reps in mid-March, they told me this isn't possible, which was the same answer that the first household investor got when she asked a month or two earlier. According to Computershare, if I owned a plan share, then I needed to think of my book and plan shares as one account. That's very interesting, and that makes me wonder if GameStop were to just issue a one-time special dividend, let's say just 25 cents per share, that'd cost them like under $100 million, right? They could do it theoretically. If everybody who had a plan or DSPP account had all of their money reinvested, that would be pretty wild. That's my first thought reading that. That would be if GameStop wants to enlighten that in some way. But at the same time, I feel like GameStop doesn't want to issue dividends until they're ready to do it consistently, and I just don't think that's where they're at right now. So a one-time special dividend at 25 cents. You can just imagine the headlines too. GameStop issues weird 25-cent dividend for literally no reason or out of nowhere, but maybe it would be for this. That'd be crazy. But let's see. To recap, and that's just thought right there. Nordstrom was offering 19 cents cash dividend, and stock was currently trading around $17 at the time of the dividend. I owned one book designated share with dividend reinvestment disabled, and I purchased one share plus a fractional in planned designation. I was hoping to receive two separate dividend payouts, one for 19 cents cash and one that would go towards buying 19 cents plus towards a new share. Trying to keep a long story short, when Nordstrom dividend came, all shares received dividend reinvestment. It turns out that buying or holding even a single planned share enrolls your entire account in direct stock plan. All your shares become quote unquote part of the plan. Fast forward past more and more research. This led me to the creation of the charts below with the help of another household investor. Does the account have planned shares? On the top and on the left, does the account have dividend reinvestment on? If yes for both, enrolled in the direct stock plan. If yes for even one, enrolled in the direct stock plan. Account is not enrolled in direct stock plan only if there's no planned shares and no dividend reinvestment on. And who was it before that summarized it? They did a very good job in the chat. Now that I'm reading this, I understand. Sorry guys, sometimes it takes me a moment to get to these places, but we out here. Oh, okay, perfect. I can do that. Excellent. So the example / testing is easier why so many people are conflicted. The user tested I paused this with Nordstrom shares apparently. No sale, yo. Dan, thank you for being here. You're right about investor turd. Oh wait, I'm way behind. Oh yeah, I missed some chats before, my bad. Where are we at in the chat? If Ryan Cohen tweets something that he's bad at fractional math as a kid, that'd be funny. Danzo, that'd be fucking legendary. It would be. And it would be funny. 2 days ago, good looks, Green Crayon. I'm finally here. So I have a question. Do you think GameStop turnaround is working? I truly do, Chris. I truly do. I think it's just step by step and really just not going to be overnight, and people will be like, oh, they're not doing anything. Or, oh, yeah, they're just a dying brick and mortar retailer. But I say just watch. They're really changing how they operate their core business, and then everything they're trying to do beyond that, I think is just going to be big. But just keep an eye on it. So did this info about fractional shares start spreading today? Sir Moist looks like a couple days ago. I would say last couple days, update info started. You shill telling people to buy BBY. Marantz, never, man. No way. No way. And thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much, man. You're the man. LOL. But ain't no way. Ain't no way. No BBY. No, what did I say? Bubby or whatever? That character from that show. I don't even know. But nah. No, Bobby. I could be like, what's that dude? Kaz, and be like, Ryan Cohen, King of Teddy. You're here. He's gonna do it today. Today is the day. Today. Nah, that'd be crazy. Tetron's like second shift for Rant's crew. We're all the same people here. No, big homies. Everyone out here is big homies. What up? And Ryan, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Got a buddy to invest in GME today. Nice. It's always fun talking to people about GameStop. I was actually talking to a coworker today about it, and he was like, wow, yeah, I didn't realize all that was going on with GameStop. I'm like, I love this company. Do you think GameStop should do superstores? Chris, I don't think superstores necessarily. I kind of like the idea of them doing more stores in terms of what they just did in Milan, Italy. If you look that up, there's not a lot of coverage on it. Of course, it's not on Yahoo Finance. What a strange coincidence, right? But basically that store is like a 3-level store or 3-category store, with one section being just a core GameStop store, how do you kind of imagine now, another section being more specific to streaming and then experiences, and then a third section with board games, collectibles, a little bit more items geared towards kids. Live in 2 hours, watching PP show, not holding back. You're invited, brother. Marantz, I'll tune in. I'll tune in. That'll be funny. I'm down. But yeah, maybe I'll hop on for a little bit too. I gotta see. Dude, I'm just so tired. I'm so tired, but I will see how I'm doing later. Ryan, something that's great. GameStop do superstores. We'll see. So that's what we'll have to see too, because I think what they kind of see over time, or what they do over time, in terms of potentially doing more stores with board games, collectibles, experience based, streaming, potentially, maybe even gaming tournaments, things like that start to happen. That would be super dope to see. But you got to keep going through this now. You can only choose one, but change at any time. Yeah, that's what I meant. Do you think we get something like that in the US? Yeah, I think so. I think here and there it'll start to happen. I think it'd be very slow moving. I don't think they're going to want to rush it anyway. But something I was kind of showing before that I found interesting. Where was I? Oh yeah, in the 10K. If it wants to load up again. Okay, yeah. So there's a lot of leases expiring in 2023. So they have a lot of decisions to make. So maybe they're only going to release stores that they think they can build on top of, or they're going to just maybe discontinue some of these leases and then obtain leases for larger areas and then maybe not have as many stores, because we have been seeing them trim down. But I think if they see a spot that has solid foot traffic now without even implementing experiences and things like that, that could be something they might be looking into. But just theorizing here. Let's see. Hi, friends. What up, Anthony? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. People gonna shrivel back at his turtleneck if you're talking. Oh my god. Are they? So yeah, they're still going along, those dudes. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't even understand. It's like that one dude, and then you just start having like anybody that likes Bed Bath on there. Like, it's kind of crazy. But let's keep going here. You can choose only one, but change at any time. GameStop accounts at Computershare. Not enrolled in direct plan. Individual holding DRS book shares will only dividend reinvestment off. So this is pure DRS, quote unquote. And then these are the non-pure DRS, quote unquote. These diagrams made it simple to understand, but there's still one misleading thing. How does this affect numbers disclosed in 10Q and 10K reports? This led me to more research. What are these shares, quote unquote, in the plan called? It was always assumed by household investors that any quote unquote DRS book shares are what Computershare calls quote unquote pure DRS. Turns out this assumption is incorrect. Pure DRS is a form of holding DRS book shares that are not part of the direct plan, as are pure DRS book, shown in green. DRS book shares that are enrolled in the plan are not what Computershare calls pure. Yeah, so that's kind of what this says up here, because you can't, they all become quote unquote part of the plan. And if I own a plan share, then I need to think of the book and plan shares as one account. That's very interesting. I would kind of want to message Computershare myself about this. Do they have 24/7 service? Can we do it right now? This led me to do more research. What are these shares in the plan called? Okay, wait. So what are all shares enrolled in quote unquote the plan called, regardless of whether they are plan or book? Turns out the Computershare specifically calls them DSPP shares. Household investors always assume that plan share equals DSPP share, when in reality it turns out that all shares enrolled in the plan equal DSPP shares. Yeah, I get that. I'm specifically wondering if DSPP shares refers to plan shares only, question mark. DSPP and pure DRS shares are technically different forms of holding, although for many practical purposes they are the same. Both forms of ownership record the names of the investor directly on the issuer's registrar. You can check more information becoming a registered shareholder in U.S. listed companies through Computershare. Yeah, I've read all the FAQ. Are DRS book shares that are enrolled in dividend reinvestment part of DSPP shares? Yes. Hi, just checking in. Is there anything else I can help you with today? Yes, I just wanted to confirm. So, any shares enrolled in dividend reinvestment, regardless of whether they were purchased, are considered DSPP shares because they are enrolled in the plan. Yes. I mean, it makes sense. It really does, because I think about, like, just what I've learned about working in an office internally, and what my company does has nothing to do with this at all, not even remotely. But I feel like things internally are set up to just be the most efficient, and it'd be inefficient, right? Theoretically, for Computershare to be, if you have somebody with an account and they have plan and then book, to be splitting them when you're going to get all the dividends in that one account, then you would have to split it up in a different way. So I don't know. It's interesting, and it almost makes me honestly want to try it with Nordstrom too, because how much is Nordstrom, like 17 a share? So theoretically, right, I can buy direct Nordstrom, like I could buy a half a share even, or like a fractional share, and or maybe I guess I need one for the dividend. So I'll buy one and change, and then hopefully to see if it reinvests, and then I'll book my share. So yeah, I don't know. It is. I would be cool if it was GameStop that did a dividend to know that, but at the same time, it's like they're not gonna just do it to do it. So I don't know. I don't know. This is definitely interesting. I'm gonna have to dig into this and think about this more later too. I know chat logs are not direct proof, but I wanted to include screenshots to make you aware that chat representatives are aware of the difference and may explain the specific direct stock holdings when asked. So I'll try and ask at some point too. Maybe I gotta message them. Now that you have this information, will allow you to ask the right questions using the right language. Computershare FAQ makes it clear DSPP this allows for shareholders to elect for dividend reinvestment, whereas DRS shares do not require enrollment in the plan, and there is no need to make elections around dividend payments. Hold on to that thought, because I show below that if you decide to end direct stock plan, aka DSPP, you need to quote unquote terminate the dividend reinvestment plan. Similarly, if you hold all book shares but have dividend reinvestment on, you need to terminate dividend reinvestment in order to leave the direct stock plan. As the FAQ below indicates, there is no need to select the dividend payment allocation. Your account will simply be credited a cash dividend in the form of cash. How are shares held directly in the registered system and held in book entry via direct stock purchase plan different? DRS shares do not require enrollment into a plan, nor is there a need to make elections around dividend payment allocations. DSPPs are specific plans that require shareholders to elect enrollment. DSPP, direct stock purchase plan, shares allow for the shareholder to elect the dividend payment to be allocated as to their discretion, including the reinvestment in the purchase of additional shares. This is a massive breakthrough because it means old assumption that if you owned 1,000.1 shares being DRS and 0.1 being planned, that you owned 1,000 pure DRS book shares and 0.1 DSPP share. This is completely incorrect. If you hold 1,000.1 shares, it means that you hold 1,000.1 DSPP shares. A portion of all those shares are held at DTC efficiently. Yes, the hypothetical example above, by owning 0.1 fractional share, you are allowing a portion of the other 1,000 to be moved to the DTC for operational efficiency. Honestly, I mean, this makes a lot of sense. I mean, upon initial read, like, this really actually seems fairly groundbreaking, or in terms of knowledge. This is really, really interesting. Thank you guys so much for pointing this out to me. Why do Computershare make their language in GUI for boomers? This has to be complicated. We're still figuring it out. I like Computershare, but it needs improvement. I think you're right, Danzo. I think you're absolutely right. I like them, but I think they do need to get more modern. I feel like just the nature of the business, maybe it has more boomers and anybody that's generally kind of using it. It's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. It's a huge international operation too. So I think that might have to do with it in a sense. It might make it more difficult to like kind of update everything all the time. But yeah, you would have to think with all these new clients from GameStop shareholders, they could, start to do something with this. So, but we'll see. You think GameStop superstores will have a bigger selection of video games? I think so, Chris, but I think they would more so be geared towards the experiences and bringing people in the door and spending more time there. We're the first millennials in history to call Computershare. That's true. Yeah, they're probably like, what the hell? It's funny. I don't know if I told you guys on another, I think I said on one other stream, but there's a situation where somebody was holding private stock at my company and it went public. So we transferred it to Computershare, and the other company was having such a hard time understanding. Computershare wasn't being clear with us, but this is a whole different side of what they do. So me and this other lady, I told her, I'm like, it was back office lady. So I was like, yeah, I own a lot of stock with Computershare, so I'm pretty familiar with their processes. And I was actually able to help her because when we sent them their transfer paperwork, it only re-registered it from us as the custodian to them, but it was still DRS'd. They wanted the shares to go to Ameriprise, but the shares were still DRS'd. It was weird. They would DRS them in Ameriprise's name for the benefit of the client. So I don't know if I've explained this either in my channel before on my stream, but how a self-directed IRA works is it's the custodian name, FBO, client's name and account number, or client's information, right, on behalf of the client. They're like generally speaking. So when you hold private assets in an IRA account, in a self-directed IRA account, the custodian is actually the true owner of the asset, but it's for the benefit of, and that's kind of what Seed & Co is. Seed & Co for the benefit of Fidelity, Tetron, whereas shares just in my name are just Tetron, if that makes sense. So just some food for thought there. Correct, this is the most efficient way to do this. Everything Computershare is doing is kosher/legal, but deeper context is that it screws GME holders knowing operational efficiency of shares are what DTC. Yeah, exactly, because even if a fraction, right, is being used for operational efficiency, if more and more shares are pure DRS, right, theoretically, right, this is just my off-the-dome thoughts here, as more shares become pure DRS, theoretically, more of these planned shares would be needed for operational efficiency, right? That's kind of fucking nuts, actually. LOL, right? All the Computershare people expecting 65-year-old people calling. Not me. But now that's going to take some time to absorb, so maybe read that paragraph again. Take a few more deep breaths because it's about to get wilder. Okay. Buckle up, as household investors have heard before. The quote-unquote heat lamp theory concludes that the quote-unquote rug pull on DRS account numbers is being done with household investors' own shares, specifically on cutoff days. The theory is that the portion of aggregate DSPP shares are held at DCC for operational efficiency is tied to an algorithm that is based on real-time volume and price. When volume and price are relatively flat, very few shares will be held at DTC for operational efficiency. When volume and price gets volatile, it is necessary for Computershare to hold more shares at DTC. That's kind of what. Wow, I didn't even. I swear I didn't read that. That was just what I was thinking. If you were before, like I read that right there. If you were a short hedge fund and you knew this was a fairly simple algorithm, what do you think they are going to do on cutoff days to confuse household investors? They would make the volume go bonkers so the algorithm kicks in and completes the DRS count manipulation for them. Check out the highest volume days in the last 6 months. This is going to blow your mind. Coincidentally, the highest volume days by far in the last 6 months are the days that the shares were counted. Motherfucker, that's crazy, yo. That's actually crazy. That is crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. If, like, really? Is it? Is it actually exactly? Notice how Computershare.net raw estimates and DRS GME report numbers nearly merge in July, then diverge for the Q3 DRS report date. Some folks are suggesting the Computershare.net raw non-trib estimates have been right since July, and the true number of DRS shares in Computershare is closer to 100 million. In this case, the above chart could be revised to look like this. Pretty nutty. So what happens next? My speculation is that since this wasn't uncovered until now, just 2 weeks before the next cutoff, that short hedge funds are going to create a lot of volume for GME at least one more time, possibly modifying their plan for future cutoffs. The next cutoff, quote unquote, should be Saturday, April 29th. I believe the stock, quote unquote, should spike in volume sometime between April 28th and May 2nd. More specifically, that'll be very interesting to watch because that's coming up right at the end of the month here. More specifically, I think the volume spike will happen May 1st, with much of the trading volume happening in after hours. Since the cutoff is on a day that the market is closed, I believe Computershare tallies the count at the close of the market hours and the first full day trading after cutoff date. Crazy. Kind of feel like most GME holders might not want to go through the trouble of selling their fractional. Maybe I'm wrong. Danzo, it's not a bad thought, but for me as an individual, I read something like this, I'm like, it's kind of a pain in the ass, but I kind of want to do it now. I mean, that's just an initial thought. You know, everybody should make their own decisions as an individual. Always do your research before you make any kind of financial moves in any way, but that's kind of my thought after reading this. Like, damn. Sup, GME fam? Donko, thanks for being here. What up, what up? Remember Movie Stop? No, I don't think so. I don't really remember it. Was it like a thing people were coming up with a while back? Pushing fractional means the shorts are struggling. It would mean that, expert. You said it, not me. Fuck. Yeah, exactly, sir. When I read that, I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. Hey, for volume, we reached a new record low. Does that mean DRS is working? So Danzo, generally, I would say yes, in the sense, theoretically, right, just more shares directly registered in individuals' names, or just less shares, people are trading hands. So it just means over time, less and less shares going back and forth, generally, as slowly more and more shares are outside the DTC. But, of course, now we know planned shares can be put into the DTC temporarily for operational efficiency. And what this reminds me of, I don't know if anybody remembers this a while back, DTC reference numbers. So when you do a transfer, right? DTC, where is it? DTC reference numbers list. Maybe this is ownership. Is this it? No, I don't think so. No, this isn't it. Okay, so there's a list, right? Let's see. Find it right here. Transfer your account to Schwab. So check this out. I've showed this in the past. So right here, Schwab clearing number. This is their DTC number, right? DTC clearing number. And I put this together a while back, and it made me really think, yeah, this is what's something interesting about plan. Okay, DTC participant report. This is from June 2019, but it still has the same idea, which I'm trying to show you here. Computershare has a DTC reference number, right? And I thought, well, wait a minute. Why do they have that? And then I was like, well, it makes sense because they probably have to move shares back and forth. But they have it because when they need shares for operational efficiency, you could just move some planned shares. They use their clearing number and they can move it within the DTC still. That's pretty nuts. So Computershare has that DTC reference number, and every bank does, right? Like Charles Schwab. And this might not be up to date, but yeah, look at it, 0164. Right here, 0164. Boom. So DTC reference numbers. So that's crazy because that's how the ACAT system works. So DTC, Depository Trust Company, represented by Seed & Co. Underneath it is a National Securities Clearing Corporation, NSCC, and they operate the ACAT system, the automatic clearing trades. But basically, the ACAT system moves cash and securities quickly, electronically. And how it does that is everything's in the name of Seed & Co. And because NSCC is the DTC, and DTC is things that is represented by Seed & Co. So it's kind of crazy because it makes sense. They can just, move it within the DTC for operational efficiency. If all these other ones don't have shares on their ledger, right? Suddenly, operational efficiency is needed. And look at these other ones down here. Woohoo! Seen those names before. But yeah, some interesting stuff for sure. That is for sure. Private, I actually think a lot of people in other subreddits. Oh, wait, I gotta go back. Damn. It's popping off right now. Yeah, I'm selling my fractional shares right now, but I don't know how many people are seeing DD or believing it. I think you're right, Danzo, but I think anything else, like anything else that's happened with GameStop, over time, more people research and read and just digest more. And eventually, I like to think the truth really just comes to light, or like knowledge just gets stronger and stronger over time as people get caught up with things, just as I'm getting caught up with this right now. Someone else might not get caught up for like a week, a month, right? People are even more passive investors. When you terminate the automatic buy, it automatically sells your fractional shares. There are other methods as well. Good looks, private. Remember the glitch when people were selling fractional shares for 5K a pop, and then DD came out there hiding fractionals in Brazil? I don't remember that one actually, I'd have to look back on that. Why dick with the count if it's not important? Let's see what they do with this cycle. That's right, Crayon Green. That's a great point right there. Very simply, Why mess with it unless it mattered? And Robinhood shut it down. Gah. I actually think a lot of other people on subreddits are catching wind of the theory and taking time to digest it. My gut feeling is that a lot of people are convinced this is a huge discovery. This is pretty big to me. I'd never heard about this. I'm glad we're talking about it right now. I mean, I know I saw it coming up again, but I was like, what's with the new conversation about it? And it's interesting that Super Snonky just deleting all the posts after this. Great. It allegedly, right? Wendy, what up? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. You think GameStop should bring back ThinkGeek to make some extra revenue? Honestly, Chris, I'm not so sure about that. It doesn't really seem like it's fitting its core model right now. If the logistics were there, I say, hey, why not? But honestly, I think they're more so focused on the next chapter of gaming and just providing the best experience for their customers because of the passion that's developed behind the brand right now. But then again, people might want to use ThinkGeek for that reason, but I think it's not the top priority. So I think probably not, but if the logistics are there and it integrates nicely, I think they'd consider it. Won't let me sell. The partial amount must be a whole share or a portion up to 6 decimal places. Expert smirking. I'm trying to sell 0.731763, but it won't let me. It's a scam. Damn, I need to put zero first before decimal. There you go, Danzo. You're chilling. But oh my god, you're gonna sell GME, Danzo? No, I'm just playing, yeah. But short hedge funds. With that being said, you can make sure your shares are completely out of the DTC at all times, even during cutoff days. You cannot own any planned shares, which includes a fractional share. You cannot be enrolled in dividend reinvestment program, even if you are 100% book. You cannot be enrolled in recurring buys on Computershare. You cannot have a limit order placed. Crazy. Either way, I expect GME investor will see massive outlier in volume. So let's see. I thought I was gonna sneeze, but it never came. It was a false alarm. Oh, I still feel it though. Yeah, for real. Thank you guys all being here with me. For real, for real. This is crazy. Oh, I need to put a zero. GameStop just added their first video to their YouTube channel in over a year. Problem nothing. Let's see it. Yo, good looks. Seth, thank you for being here. Appreciate that info. Yeah, and all of a sudden it's like, I don't know. I feel like GameStop is waiting for the, like, it seems like now things are really like driving forward. Things have been about adapting, but please stop microwaving eggs. What the fuck? Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, so they were doing live streams and stuff a while back. And then okay, dope. So they did like an interview type of thing. Oh, that's right. They were even doing the conference calls in here for a little while. I kind of forgot about that. But I'll definitely be keeping an eye. I am subscribed, of course. I'm not just signed in on this tab, but definitely be nice to see them post more, especially like knowledge about everything they're doing. Is Wario better than Mario? That's crazy talk. Yeah, what do you mean? But that's nice to see too. That they should be putting content out on YouTube. I think that's a great thing, especially trying to bring in younger kids. Maybe if they put out some like not kid stuff, but like kid friendly. So or game kid friendly, if that makes sense. But what I want to look at here is when was the last spike in volume? March 22nd date. See, that's crazy because March 22nd, record holders March 22nd. And look at March 22nd right here. Look at that volume. What a convenient time for the DTC to need shares. Holy shit. It matches up. It matches up. And the volume's right there. And then, theoretically, last time it was as of the end of the quarter. So, what am I looking for? I'm totally just blanked out. Here we go. Okay, as of October 29th. So let's go back to October 29th. The next day, the most volume. Because notice the reporting changed from being as of the end of the previous quarter to as of the most recent time, but there's no major spike in volume along the way until that point. So let's test it again. Let's go to the previous 10Q. This is very big if true. Very, very big if true. And it looks spicy as fuck, let me just say that. July 30th, 2022. So it ran that. I'm pretty sure it was running around then. July 30th. Wait, that's what it said. July 30th, 2022. Okay, so that one didn't line up exactly. But theoretically, this didn't really factor in as much until more recently, as I would say things have gotten tighter. So, I mean, it's an interesting theory, but that one didn't have it. Check the one before just for one more. For real, guys, I gotta get myself a setup. I'm like killing my back. I'm like so out of my posture. Like, I still have this couch in the front, but I'm not even gonna go explain everything. Whatever. I gotta just get a nice setup to like sit down, but I'm really working towards it, guys. And I've just been working harder at work. You know, I see some potential for growth at my career right now. Um, I just feel like there's doors that I've just this funny feeling like doors are about to open. Not just a feeling, but also see the company like growing. So I want to just really be put in the work day. So I've just been a very very difficult week at work. It's been just very busy. So I'm just keep putting in the work there, but eventually have my own nice little spot. I'll be streaming. I'll be chilling. So April 30th. But again, see, this was such a lesser amount of shares, 71.3. It wasn't until this filing, the last 10Q before the 10K, where the numbers stopped rising. So it makes me think prior to that, it didn't really matter. So that's why the volume numbers weren't there. But we'll check 3 months prior just in case. So it'd be June, May, April, end of April. Okay. I mean, here it did happen though. I mean, that's not a huge spike, but it's spicy. I mean, this is spicy. If you ask me, this is very interesting. This is all while GameStop's turning things around, So I think underlying this is all spicy as fuck. But to me, the best part of it all is as long as GameStop is succeeding and driving forward as a company, that's really what's number one. And all of this is going to just slowly be bubbling up underneath and discovered over time as the company's thriving forwards. So this is just the underlying like boom, so to speak, like pushing everything. But at the same time, like what GameStop is doing on the surface is so important in having it move forwards. And it's still a big part of everything. It's not just like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter if the company makes money or returns value to shareholder. It does. But all of this underlying also is just like, wow, if they're returning value to shareholders, like people are owning shares, look like they're really going to get a lot of value in the long term because of the tail of the tape here, if that's the right expression. But the fees associated with the transaction you have requested exceed the net proceeds. Will not receive a payment for this transaction. Notice they didn't say to buy a fractional scam. Yeah, I missed a check by 4 cents. Fee $15.59. Check would be $15.55. We should all buy a fractional. Do the opposite for the win. Damn XFit. I don't want to be that guy, but told you. DD checks out. You're good, private. Laughing at advanced fuckery. Tetron, when you try to terminate the DSPP on your account in Computershare, you got an error message. That's because you Likely, like most people, on a cycle of buying shares, so it takes time to settle, etc. Okay, yeah, private. I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna look into this for sure deeper. They only mess with the last two reports. The first DRS rug was Q3 2022. Exactly, Crayon. Exactly. Your request to sell shares from your GameStop core has been received. Market order will expire tomorrow's business day. Now I have time to. Now I have to buy more to make up for this. This is the way, Danza. Takes one business day to sell your fractional shares. By the way, it's a pain. Can't select. From the DD, you're not able to pause the plan if you have a pending limit buy, which means people buying bi-weekly have a very small window to close the plan without playing a full cycle. In April, I believe there were only such were only 5 days that recurring buys can be canceled. Damn, that's crazy. But actually, I don't even do recurring buys. I did one buy in the beginning, and then ever since, I've always transferred shares from Fidelity. So I buy my shares on Fidelity, and then I just message them to DRS transfer them. So the one set of plan I have, I got rid of when it was already very minimal. But I do want to say one thing I recall. There was a point in time, because I bought, right, like my shares, right, pre-stock dividend. I start DRSing after I do the plan. I do the plan, and I'm like, okay, because I bought in. And at one point, something like, whatever. I start DRSing shares. I'm like, okay, I just wanted to buy to make sure this thing's legit. It's my first time doing this. And I'll start transferring shares over as I got more comfortable with it. But what happens is then I'm only DRSing shares, DRSing, right, and from to book. And then out of nowhere, I can show, like, there was a point where some of my shares went from book to plan. Computershare just moved them without me ever asking, just like a small portion of them. Right, like you got like 30 shares at the point when I had like 60, or I don't know what the number was exactly. And this was, by the way, pre-stock dividend, whatever. But they just moved them, and I thought that's weird. But then eventually, like the old information came out. I terminated the plan, but I just kept my fractional share because I was like, whatever, I'm not going to sell it. It is what it is. But now reading this, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. That one tiny buy in the beginning, and also the fact that they had moved some shares to plan without asking me. Now it makes sense why, and why Computershare is a clear DTC clearing number. It's pretty crazy. It really is pretty crazy. Damn. Damn. That's all I have to say. I'm glad we stumbled upon this tonight. I really am. Pretty crazy. Oh my god. Posture so bad. I need a chair. But also, guys, I do think I'm gonna wrap it up because I just have a lot of stuff I need to get caught up on, and just more organized. And I want to make sure the content's like quality. I just feel myself burning out right now, like just drifting off. Not drifting off, but that. And I know, like, there's just things in my mind, like, I don't need to do this after. I gotta do that. I got it. So I'm really trying to just get that done. And not this Friday, I don't think, but next Friday, I'm gonna try and do a special stream, with somebody I know from work, where I met him. He works in the same building as me, not exactly the same company. And I met him through another guy that used to work on my job that introduced us because he's like, yeah, you love GameStop. I know a guy that holds GameStop. And I was like, no way. So he's been in GameStop for quite a while. His name's Amir. He's a big homie. So I'm just going to kind of have him on. We'll just talk about where we've been, where our perspectives have been since investing in GameStop, and also he'll talk about his perspective on things. He's a pretty zen investor. He said he just kind of just catches up on the weekends and stuff. He just likes stock and he just holds. That's kind of his mentality. He's not like keeping up with everything day to day or big on Twitter or anything like that. And he's like, yeah, I just check Super Stunk once in a while, but he understands everything kind of going on, so to speak. A lot of not stuff going on, but you know what I mean. Like a lot of controversial thoughts, I guess I should say. Either transfer to Fidelity or transfer to Computershare. Unless you are Theta. LOL, Theta Gang. Get some respite, guy. Thank you for your hard work. Crayon, thank you. And for real, yeah, I'm just also really pushing at my job, and like so many. I little by little and just keep getting better, and it's great because I feel like every time GameStop does something move in the right direction, I'm really trying to move in the right direction myself too. So it's like I'm in this like strange like jog with GameStop in this strange marathon where I'm like, all right, yo, let's keep going, bro. Like GameStop keeps grinding, and I'm like, I want to keep going too. But Rant's going live, Tetron's leaving, dude. I'm gonna watch some of Rant's, but I'm so fucking tired, yo. It's crazy. Or not so tired, but just so I don't, yeah, I just don't sleep a lot in general. But yeah, I don't know. Just so much on my mind. So many things have to be organized and just set up, and like in terms of trying to get to where I'm at. Whatever. Ranting. Hope everyone out there has a good night. I really think we went through some great information today. I'm trying to make a video very soon about where I think GameStop's going with these lease renewals and some of their ideas about these like superstores or multi-level stores that they might be potentially opening, focused around experiences and just driving Web3. So we'll see where it goes, but thank you guys all for joining. Hope everyone has a good night.